Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Make sure my volume is actually turned up on the microphone this time. Gotta turn my feedback off. There we go. It's a lot lighter this evening than it has been for the last few months. Daylight savings has hit us here in the backwards Indiana. We only adopted daylight savings time in recent memory. I grew up in Virginia, where I always thought daylight savings time was something that had happened long ago in history. But when I moved to Indiana, it had been very new, and people are still frustrated about it. Anyway, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, what is this? Episode 32 of the Ramblestream with me, your host, Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I'm broadcasting from my desk, and this great glass block wall here is bringing some nice light in, so a little different. It'll probably get dark here soon, but lighter and lighter as the season turns into the riding season from the depths of winter. All right. Looks like the comments are already going. We'll take a quick look at the comments. Let's see. Oh, let's do the housekeeping first. For those of you who are return members of the fellow Ramblers who've been on here before, you know the drill. But I do like to have you check in. It doesn't matter. I don't mind if people lurk and just watch or whatever, but if you're on, take a minute and tell us your name or your handle if you're more comfortable with that, where you're viewing from, and if you own a Janus, what model and serial number it is. If you own more than one Janus, tell us all about them all. And if you do not own a Janus, do you own a motorcycle? What kind of motorcycle do you own? What kind of motorcycles have you had? Or if you don't own a motorcycle, do you have any interesting other vehicles that we'd like to hear about? I love hearing about all the different cars, motorcycles, and other contraptions for transporting us that the Ramblers tend to collect. So also, tell us what you're sipping on this evening. I have neglected, actually I have some H2O, but I'm just drinking water this evening. But tell us what you're sipping on, and we'll go ahead and get started here. We've got first in the chat is Larry Morris. He says, I am seriously considering getting one of their bikes. I like to hear that. That's great. Well, you should do it, Larry. Listen to what other folks say in the chat. So we've got, next up we have, Jordy's on. Jordy says, Larry, do it. Plus you can use my coupons that Janus gave to certain members to get a further discount. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Jordy is referring to our, I don't know what it's actually called, the Golden Ticket Program, where if you get a hold of an owner who's participating, they can get you a sizable sum off of your the cost of your motorcycle, your Janus motorcycle, and then they get a discount as well. So I should go ahead and just give a pitch for that. If you are a Janus owner and you would like to participate in the Janus, I think it may be ambassador program, the Golden Ticket, I like that, the Golden Ticket Program, and get a hold of us and we can send you some tickets. And the other secret trick about the Golden Ticket Program is that you can do it for yourself too, and you'll get a discount on your bike, and you'll get the reward of being the finder. I think that totals out to $1,000 off of a bike. So it's quite a good deal. Especially if you're in the market for a second one, you get a really good deal. We do have, I'm sure you'll see lots of folks here in the chat with more than one Janus in their garage. Scott Spence, here's a perfect example. Scott, hey Richard, Halcyon 250 number 212 and 450 number 178 here, sipping on some cheap Merlot. No, very nice, very elegant. Scott, good to hear from you. David, hi, just got the Rambler's Companion from Amazon. It kept me engaged and entertained while waiting for my car service to be completed. Thanks. Nice. It must have been a long car service, or you read really fast. Yes, I should mention that tonight we will be talking about the Rambler's Companion. That'll be the feature. Although I think we will also talk about some upgrades. If you have questions about upgrades or options, and where they are in the process right now, post them up in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Because I know that we've had some requests for that. Chris, JM 1067 Coke Zero Spiced. Nice. Scott says he loved the Rambler's Companion. Great job. David Bowen, 450, number 41 in the wilds of Seattle, drinking a barrel-aged Scotch ale. Nice. Bob Benstead, Sturgis, South Dakota, checking in. Halcyon 450, number 230. Miller High Life. Good man. Dan Rademski, 450, number 235, just past 500 miles. Really enjoying this bike. Fantastic. Got your note, Dan, and glad you're enjoying it. Brent is on. Griffin, 250, number 145, ordered. Tito's Black Russian. Will you be selling the Rambler's Companion through the Janus site? I'd love to buy a signed copy or several. Amazon doesn't need any more dollars. Yes, but Amazon, we need their reviews. So the more we buy on Amazon, the better the book does, and the longer it stays in the ratings. But yes, Brent, I would be, if you were to buy one on Amazon, I would be happy to sign it when you come by, because I know you will be. So, or however many you want to get. We will be. All that said, we will be carrying the Rambler's Companion here in the shop. Let me just check if the sound is good here. I always forget to do that. How do I sound? Is the volume good? Let me know in the comments before we go much further. I've got it turned all the way up, so it should be good. Okay. Sound is good, says Sirius. Hey, Sirius. Nice. We got our UK represented. Just going to skip through these comments a little bit here. Let's see. Ray Gates. Ray, my blacked out 250 has been built, waiting for the word to come get it. Fantastic. Ray, congratulations. Jim Winters. Hello from the Indiana News. Hey, Jim. How are you? Jim is another multi-bike owner of all types and sizes. Jordy says, hopefully Richard will show us his this blacked out 250. Like to see that. Yeah, I'll let me make a note. I'll show you next week. I don't have any pictures ready. Show the blacked out 250. Okay, I'll do that. I think I've been pretty good at following up on these requests so far. At least I'm making an effort. So let me know if I miss anything. Rowan. Hey, Richard. Rowan Love, or Origin 250 number 1052, assembled and waiting to be shipped to Sacramento area. And waiting. Oh, no. Well, we do have shipments going out. I know that it's very frustrating sometimes to have to wait. But I have an interesting... Maybe I'll talk a little bit about waiting. And I'm not saying this to make you think that waiting is intentionally something we do, but I'm going to make a note to remember to talk about that. Because I will come back to that. Let's see. We got Mark McGee. Good afternoon from the P&W. Halcyon 250 number JM997. Lagunitas. Maximus Colossal. Fantastic. Good to see you, Mark. Jordy. Hope I saw that one. NW Metalbug. Hey, man. Hi, Jay from Oregon. Halcyon 250 164. Drinking coffee and waiting for the sun to return. Nice. Gary Gatz. Rice's Landing, PA. Halcyon 999. Sirius Blatt. Hey, there's Sirius. Jason. Okay. Your name is Jason. I can get all these handles and names connected. Partaking in Buxton Spring Water. Nice. Tell me a little bit about that. I'd like to know more. BMW R9T. That's what you just got one, didn't you? Fantastic. Congratulations. And about to get a new Royal Enfield in the next few days. Boy, collecting them there. Gary Gatz says Griffin 119, Phoenix 076. Fantastic. Carrie Snedden will be out in Goshen this Thursday to pick up Halcyon 250 number 1043. Fantastic. I look forward to seeing you when you come out. Wonderful. Joel Yanda. Hey, Joel. Old Man 1, Halcyon 450 number 218, Kansas City, black coffee. Good to see you, Joel. Roger says, had my first drill rod on JM 118 today and my third thumbs up. Awesome weather around Sturgis, sipping on some cranapple. Glad you've gotten your bike, Roger. That's wonderful. Rick Kleppinger, Centerville, Ohio, still on the fence for a Halcyon 450. Well, welcome to the chat. I hope if you have any questions at all about the 450 and why you should get one, just post them up and either I will answer them or other folks in the chat will. Any questions or concerns you have, let us know and we'll do our best to answer them. Dan says, rode 100 miles today, shot video, but no results. Does that mean that you didn't get the video didn't turn out or you haven't seen it yet? Drinking bubbly water with lemon. I was drinking that today too. Racing the Sun says, ahoy there. Hey, it's the Felix brothers. Good to see ya. Gary says, try this again. Rice's Landing, PA, Halcyon 999, Griffin 119, and Phoenix 76. Jeff Massey, how's it going, Jeff? 850 in Florida, drinking Eagle Rare. Nice. And that's one of our videographer's favorite bourbon. He says, trying to convince my neighbors to buy a Janus. Fantastic. Well, get in on that golden ticket program. Let us know. Send us an email and we'll get you some. And then you'll get to a reward out of it too. Mark McGee, or Nicholas G says, Griffin 450 number 2, Southeastern Connecticut. And Jeff Massey, hey, hola, Richard. Charles is on. Hello from the Eastern Shore. Here's a great example of someone with multiple bikes. Future owner of Griffin 450 number 004. Also have H250, 454, and Phoenix number 30. And I think you had another Halcyon 250 as well. Is that right? Maybe you've sold that one. We got to make room in the garage somehow, right? Carrie says, sipping a decaf coffee with Bailey's. And then we got Janus Motorcycles is on. Lovely blue twilight view, Richard. Yes, thank you. I'm trying to go with you know how the YouTubers, they go with the pink light and the blue light and it makes it look really cool? Yeah, the sun is providing that. Actually, I will say I have been doing a little work on the stream, kind of the layout, and I know you don't really see much of a difference, and I actually kind of forgot to do one of the changes I wanted to, which was to keep the comments with a black background, but we'll get there. I hope you see that the comment section is getting a little bigger, as my goal was at least. Let me see if I can actually make that work right now. No, you won't go much bigger. Okay, that's fine. Let's get through these comments. We're only 15 minutes in. That's all right. Jeff Massey says DLS sucks. What is DLS? I'm missing something here. Felix Brosefs. Nice. H450, 120, and 121. Good to see y'all. I'm looking forward to seeing some video and more content from y'all. Actually, we got to do a trip, 450 trip. It'd be a lot of fun. Joel says future owner of Griffin 450 number 001. That's right. Yeah, fantastic. Jeff, Daytona Bike Week last week. Lots of Harley dudes. Didn't know what my ride was, but lots of looky-loos. Eat your heart out. Nice. Great way to represent down there. Kelly Chrisman, H450 number 236 out of Virginia, sipping on an orange crush. Hello, Ramblers. Nice beard, Richard. Thank you. I actually trimmed it up quite a bit. It was getting a little out of control. Starting to look like Solzhenitsyn or something. That's what my father always says, when his beard gets a little too big. It looks sort of Russian. Carrie Snedden, I got 2 copies of your book, Richard. Fantastic. I want you to autograph them when I get there Thursday. Will do. Let's make it happen. Notes from the Mosquito Hill. Mac 505, Halcyon 250 JM 644, somewhere north of Boston, sheltering from the wind tonight. Well, I don't recognize your handle on here, but welcome. If you've been on before, I apologize for not noticing you. If this is the first time, welcome, and I hope you join us weekly. And I've said this before, but I'm putting a lot of thought into the format of the Ramblestream, and I've said this before, but I welcome your feedback on what you would find to be more interesting for future ones. If there's any kind of, I'm going to keep the poetry, but I wonder if you have any recommendations on the format and topics, etc. So keep recommendations coming there. Carrie Snedden, Jersey Shore, Halcyon 450 number 195, and this Thursday we'll take possession of Halcyon 250 number 1043. Fantastic. The Dynamite Antique Red with gold pinstriping. Yes, I think I posted a picture of that. Looks really good. Jeff says, hands up for the Willy Wonka ticket. Confed-Yank, one of our stream favorites on here, a regular. Howdy from Central North Carolina. I just came home yesterday from Daytona Bike Week on my still ever so carbed Road King. Lol. We've got to figure out how to get you on a Janus Confed-Yank. Stephen Galarza, 450 number 200, Loxahatchee, Florida. A small bottle of Merlot. Wonderful. Welcome. Good to see you. Tom Kimball, greetings from sunny Colorado. Warmer weather has made for some mile-high rambling. And thanks for your book. Bought some extras for the saddlebag to give away. Might have to forge your autograph. Nice. Well, we can make something happen, I'm sure. Let's see. We got lots and lots of comments. We're almost through, though. So, Oxblood Sergeant Seat for my Halcyon H250, sir. Must be a question. We are working on the Oxblood sourcing. It's not happened yet, but it is something that we are working on, I will say. Carrie says, while I'm there Thursday, do you have the 450 floorboards ready with the heel-toe shifter? I do not have those ready yet. I'm not sure if I was supposed to, but they are... They still need to be kicked. The angle is a little off, and so I need more time to fix that. I've been very, very, very busy the last couple of weeks doing some traveling for various reasons. Actually, I was out on Oregon last week and visiting with future dealer in the neighborhood of Portland, St. John's. The shop is called Sabatino Moto, and actually the owner, Eric Sabatino, is an old fellow mopeder from back when I used to, or actually even before, he was earlier than me in the moped scene, and was actually he's originally from Kalamazoo. So he was a member of the Decepticons moped gang, which, if you're into that, was the original moped army branch. It's where Simon King, the founder of the Moped Army, I think he founded that branch, and then there were many branches around it. Ours was Motion Left here in Goshen, and I don't think I ever ran into Eric. Had already moved out to the West Coast by the time I was in the moped scene, but he has kind of like me gone into motorcycles and runs a wonderful motorcycle dealership in Portland, which is a big motorcycle location. The One Motorcycle Show is out there, CC Motorcycles, and then of course his shop, which I can't say enough. I really just thought it was absolutely fantastic. There's he had a bunch of old mopeds for sale. He repairs vintage machines. He sells Royal Enfield. What is he? Marini. Royal Enfield, Marini. What else did he have in there? A lot of Royal Enfields. Some scooters. I don't think he carries Triumph. I couldn't be mistaken on that. And he will soon be carrying Janus motorcycles. So I couldn't imagine a better place. If you're in the Oregon area, you should definitely go check it out. I couldn't imagine a better place for someone who's interested in a Janus or who owns a Janus to have their motorcycle serviced or to first encounter a Janus bike. It really captures what we're trying to do. Sirius Blatt says, which I've already forgotten what your name is. Here, I'm gonna remember. I like Sirius. Well, I can't. He says, wait, what? The book is out? I have been busy the last few weeks and missed the launch. I'm on it. Well, absolutely. Got to make a plug for it. It's available now on Amazon. Actually, I'll give it the whole plug in a minute. Confed Yank says, is the Rambler's Companion available at local stores? It's not available at local stores as of right now. We did not get a massive publishing deal. We just self-published through Amazon. Ray Gates says, my blacked out 250 origin is 1055. It will join my 2001 Indian, my 07 CFR 230F, and my 21 KLX 230 in the stable very soon, I hope. Fantastic. You got a nice collection of bikes there. That's really neat. Confed Yank says, then I can buy one there and get it signed. Yes, you need to come here and get it signed. Yes, when you buy your motorcycle. Let's see. We got DLS. Yes, daylight savings. There we go. Our UK guy knows more about it than I do. Let's see. We got, man, these comments always move all over the place. Oh no, there's lots of comments here. I'm going to take a pause from the comments for a little bit, and we're going to move on with our poem for this evening, because I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about the Rambler's Companion, and we'll read a little portion of it. So, I thought we'd return in honor of the launch of the Rambler's Companion. We're going to go back to my favorite, Mr. Richard Wilbur, and my favorite collection, new and collected poems. And I have two poems that I was thinking about reading. One of them is kind of long, and the other one's not. So we'll go with the not long one. Next time we'll go with a longer one, because that's actually, if you've read the Rambler's Companion, there's a small portion of the mind reader at the beginning of the book, because I think it's talking right about what we're talking about. But it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-page poem, and it's possibly my favorite. But I will spare you all because we're running a little bit late. And instead, we will read possibly his best poem. Now, I think he thought that another poem he wrote, which I don't think we've read, Lying, was his best one. But I think this is really emblematic of his kind of poetry, and it really it's such a wonderful example of why Richard Wilbur is such a great modern poet, and yet a poet that who looks to the great tradition of poetry, and in that sense looks both forward and backward, like the Roman god Janus. This is a poem called Love Calls Us to the Things of This World by Richard Wilbur. The eyes open to a cry of pulleys, and spirited from sleep, the astounded soul hangs for a moment bodiless and simple as false dawn. Outside the open window, the morning air is all awash with angels. Some are in bed sheets, some are in blouses, some are in smocks, but truly, there they are. Now they are rising together in calm swells of halcyon feeling, filling whatever they wear with the deep joy of their impersonal breathing. Now they are flying in place, conveying the terrible speed of their omnipresence, moving and staying like white water, and now of a sudden they swoon down into so rapt a quiet that nobody seems to be there. The soul shrinks from all that it is about to remember, from the punctual rape of every blessed day, and cries, "Oh, let there be nothing on earth but laundry, nothing but rosy hands in the rising steam, and clear dances done in the sight of heaven." Yet, as the sun acknowledges with a warm look the world's hunks and colors, the soul descends once more in bitter love to accept the waking body, saying now in a changed voice, as the man yawns and rises, "Bring them down from their ruddy gallows. Let there be clean linen for the backs of thieves. Let lovers go fresh and sweet to be undone, and the heaviest nuns walk in a pure floating of dark habits, keeping their difficult balance. Man. Okay, let's take another stab at these comments. Let's see. Sirius says, sound is good. Okay, thank you. Jordy, aluminum fenders for 450cc are being sent today. Awesome. Can't wait for the 450 Howie bars and the windscreen and the tool bag and the mount and the rack that goes on the back. Yes, all of those are being worked on as we speak. Some of them are more advanced than others. The windscreens, I'll speak to the windscreens right now and say that we have placed the order for the prototype lenses that we're actually at the moment we were looking at getting them made very locally by a company called Polymer Shapes. However, the price was just very high for the kind of volume that we were looking at, and we would have had to pass that price on. Now, I understand that OEM windscreens are not going to be as cheap as kind of universal aftermarket windscreens. However, when you get over $500, it's a lot of money. So we have been working with a company that I've actually been in communication with for many years, as I've wanted to make like fairings and bubble screens for the Phoenix back when we were making the 250 Phoenix, and Gustafson Plastics. I think they're out of Florida, and they're a famous old windscreen maker and fairing manufacturer, and they make fairings for all kinds of bikes. And they are going to be they are already making us prototype sets of the lens, the clear plastic, for both windscreens. And I can actually show you. I have shown you already what these look like, but I don't think I've shown you this. So, and if I have, here, you get to see it again. But this is the big windscreen backing. So this will mount to your top clamps. And the stock option will be the lens, the canvas or leather skirt, and then it'll have a plate that goes over it. It bolts everything together. You can see that. It's black. But we also, I just thought it would be fun to have one made out of stainless steel and polished. Check that out. So instead of black, you could get it with polished stainless steel. You can see my fingerprints on it, but that is mirror finish. I think that'll look really good. So we'll have two different options. If you want the blacked out look, you can have it. If you want something fancy, go for that too. I'm pretty confident that the mounting system is going to work really well. But we need to get the lens in, and we need to actually test it and see if the size is right. Windscreens are very, very weird in that way. If you're a taller rider, it could work really well or not at all. And if you're shorter, the same windscreen could work really well or not at all for a short rider. So I've tried to build in as much adjustment as I can, but we need to test it because there's only one way to really know, and that's riding with it. So we're going to try with somebody tall like me and then shorter riders as well. I believe that the small windscreen, the fly screen that we're calling it, will actually be quite successful, quite effective, especially for shorter riders. I think even though it's small, it's going to have a much bigger effect than I had initially anticipated. But yes, it's awesome to hear, Jordy, that you're getting the aluminum, the polished fenders. NW Metal Bug says 5x5. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Good volume. Maybe this. Okay. Perry TX. Hello, Perry from Fort Worth. Halcyon 250 number 884. I've really been enjoying my new powder-coated Howie bars recently ordered to match the tank and fenders. Also got the Rambler's Companion. Well, thank you all of you who've gotten the Rambler's Companion so far. That's fantastic. Dan says, I would love to see a how-to video of fixing a rear flat on the side of the road with tools carried on the bike. Okay. How to fix a flat on the side of the road, rear tire. It's tricky, I have to say. It's difficult on the Halcyon because of the way that fender is so big. I have done it. I've actually changed 2 rear tires. I've only had 3 flats. One of them was last fall on a Halcyon. And that one I was so close, and I did not have the tools with me that I called a tow truck. I was in Las Vegas, and I didn't have the proper tools with me. So that's one option. The other one is to very carefully, you can eat. Well, one time I did it, I had my big aluminum panniers, and I propped the bike up on the panniers, which worked phenomenally well. Now, not everybody has panniers. The other thing you can do is very carefully put the bike down on its side. The trick there is how you seal off the tank. And so I have done that as well, and it resulted in no damage to the bike, but you have to be very careful doing that because the vent even if the tank is sealed and the carburetor is turned off and drained, which you can do with regular tools. You can turn off the fuel, drain the carburetor, let it drain out, and then you fold the vent tube back on itself, and then I just very carefully put it down in grass on the side of the road, and the tank never touched the ground. It was just a handlebar, and I put like my jacket underneath it, and then I was able to just change the wheel. It's a pain in the neck. So that is something that I've thought a lot about. Like, is how do we make it easier to change the rear tire? One solution would be to have a center stand, which I know a lot of you have wanted for a long time. It's just very hard to figure out how to put it on there. And the other solution would be having a hinged rear fender, where the fender would fold up in the back or come off. And we have put a lot of thought into that. So I'm thought about doing something like that. But then those of you who already have a bike, I'd like to come up with some kind of solution for that. But for the time being, that's my answer. But a video would be great. I can definitely do it. I've done it several times. Hemingway would be a Janus rider. He would be drinking rum and would love this. Fantastic. Joel says, I got 2 copies of the Rambler's Companion, one from me and one from my brother, who I hope will be ordering a Janus motorcycle soon. Fantastic. Hold on. Richard makes notes. Like to read Kino's Journey. I already have that note, and I haven't done it. I just need to buy it. All right, fine. Buy Kino's Journey. All right. Next Ramblestream, if I haven't bought it, you can give me even more a hard time. Keith Haywood, 706 in New York, received book yesterday. Wonderful. Eric Green, greetings from Vancouver, Washington. Eric Human and Outlaw Halcyon 250. Fantastic. Jack London, Roger Griffin. Arthur Nordby, I haven't recognized that name. Welcome. Just waited to let you know that my brother and I received our bikes, 1039 and 1050, in great time and shape. Thanks to all at Janus. See you in September. Wonderful. Welcome to the stream. If you haven't been on before, if you have and I haven't noticed you, welcome back. And it sounds like you will be at our owners rally, so that's wonderful. Look forward to meeting you in person. Sirius says, Scott, I'm getting another Continental GT, and reminds me of my old Commando, which I think was my all-time favorite bike, Norton, and I've had a fair few. Nice. Those Royal Enfields are, I shouldn't be saying it on the Janus stream, but I was looking at them out at Eric Sabatino's in Portland, and some of them are really pretty, and they really, in some ways, I think they're a better Triumph than a Triumph. Confed Yank, Janus Motorcycles, I mentioned the buddy who loves ADVs about the Griffin 450. Sirius says, Buxton Springwater. Buxton is an old spa town. Okay, yep, hot springs and still has a drinking fountain that you can take your fill of warm mineral water. Buxton is at the top of the famous Cat and Fiddle Road. I think you've mentioned that before. I've been to Bath many, many, many years ago and drunk the water at Bath, but I have not been to Buxton, which sounds really wonderful. Confed Yank, I will totally take referrals from local owners. I bet you. Rowan, I'd love to become an ambassador. I notice on the owner's map, not many in my area. Got to get it first though. Well, get in here. You send us an email, and we will hook you up. Don't you worry. Mark Stevens, Halcyon 250 number 643, Myers Rum and Coke. Greetings from Westland, Michigan. Good to see you, Mark. Jordy, you might consider a mobile camera, and you can make us seasick when you walk around the shop. Yeah, I think there's a way for me to connect my phone to this. The technology, I'm sure I would manage to mess it up, but I bet you we could do something like that. That might be a fun, actually, make a note. Consider mobile camera as part of stream. That's a really good idea. I like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun for you all too. Serious daylight saving, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Continental GT is a good one, but I also like the Triumph T120. Riggedy Alps, welcome. Good to see ya. Evening all, House property number 234, representing. Just ordered the book last night. Wonderful. Notes from Mosquito Hill says, long time, first time. Nice. Great. Jeff Massey, I was among those Harley dudes. Oh, Confetti Yank says, but I didn't spot you. I know I didn't see any Janus. Lawrence Ray. Lawrence says, Anna Cortez, Washington, picking up 242 Thursday. No beverage, commuting to Louisville. Wonderful. Wonderful. I look forward to seeing you in. Ray says, each week show very quick pics of the bikes she built last week. Aha! Very nice. Pics of bikes built. This is very helpful this week. I like that. I had considered that kind of thing, but yeah, that's great. Jordy, mobile recommended a mobile camera with a microphone to ramble through the shop. Yes, I think we can make that happen. That must be Grant says, get your rally tickets. Yes, I'll plug that. Buy your rally tickets now and get your hotel reserved. 56 riders in the first 15 minutes. I'm really behind on these comments. Sorry, folks. There's too many of them. Top Banana is Brent down at TT. Cheers, everyone from TT, Janus Fender Shop, making fenders. N8 RAB, sorry late, just now saw the invite. Yeah, the book is out. Came yesterday. Fantastic. Brent says, okay, Richard, okay, just ordered 5 copies from Amazon. Nice. Fantastic. Let's see. We got lots of people on. What percentage is the Griffin being designed for on-road versus off-road? Okay, that's a great question. I would say that it's more of an off-road bike than your typical like KLR DR 650. That's hard to say. I think it's going to be like your standard dual sport. The KLR I would describe as sort of like it might not even be 70-30. It might be 80-20. But it's like king of the gravel road. That's the KLR. The DR 650, which is a Suzuki, is a little bit more capable, and it really comes down to weight. It's more capable off-road because it's a lot lighter. It's got a little more power too. But that's where the Griffin's gonna, even if it's not like super dedicated as an off-road bike, it's going to be so light that it's going to be easy to ride off-road. And so I would say maybe more of a 50-50. That's a good question. I'm actually out riding it around today. I rode into this just for the Ramblestream on the prototype, and I need to get it off road more. But I don't know. I'd say it's like kind of a 50-50. Yeah, that's what I'll say until I ride it more. Joel says an audio book of the Rambler's Companion might be a good idea. Yes, that is in the works. I will be recording an audio version. I think it'll be nice to kind of let the book do its thing for a bit, and then we can release the audio, and then maybe we'll do a digital, like a Kindle version after that. Janus regarding Hemingway, ha ha ha. Please put me on the list for a 250 windscreen. Nice. I will tell you N8 RAB that don't tell me that. Send us an email. Send Danielle our sales at Janus, our main contact number or email, and we can put you on the list. I am the wrong person to talk to about sales for that kind of thing. Jim says, POS? I don't know. Look at Carney Plastics in Youngstown, Ohio. I can't guarantee any action, though. David Hunter NYC. Richard, I grew up in a motorcycle family. My parents were abusive, and I don't have a positive association with motorcycles. To see you, a motorcycle enthusiast, being poetic and wise is therapeutic. Well, you know what, David? I was just recently on, I think it was you. I was watching a Bart video on the Ducati 916. Is that the one? And I was just like looking through the comments because they're always interesting. And I saw Janus in the comment. I'm like, what's this? And somebody said, never been super partial to Ducatis, but whatever. But I'm more of kind of into the Janus aesthetic. It made my evening. I was laughing. That's great. I think that was you. NW Metalbug, 5x loud and clear. Great. Dan, fold the vent tube. Remember, 450 is injected. Oh, yeah. The 450 would be, I don't think the 450 would leak because it's injected. It's automatically closed off. But you still need to fold the vent tube. Martin Drew, those windscreens with a hole are pretty brilliant. I think one is offered by Royal Enfield. They let a sensible amount of wind through without accumulating where tall folks have their noggins. Oh, I think I missed a comment. Okay, well, we're already really running late, so. Will you be doing, Stephen Duke says, Rev says hi from New Mexico, 450 number 137. Good to see you, my friend. And we got more comments coming in. Greetings from Wisconsin. Will you guys be adding any more new exhaust tip add-ons? Yes, we have the 450 ones. They're actually, I'm surprised we haven't gotten the second set of prototypes back yet. This has really taken a long time. I think I'm going to double check on that one. Would you consider making a windshield with lower leather? Yes, we are working on that. It will likely be, it'll definitely have a canvas lower, and it could have leather. But leather and our wax canvas and leather cost about the same per yard, so we could easily do leather. Rowan, already an owner, Origin 1052, already assembled. Love to be an ambassador, just waiting on delivery. Yeah, absolutely. We can make that happen. Rare Breed, are you guys thinking of any new models from what you're doing now? Always thinking. Jeff says, I'd recommend some surveys or polls on the blog on what helmet we wear, what bikes we chose, what color, or maybe a post asking us why we chose Janus. Marketing gold. Products. Yeah, that's great. Love it. David says, yes, Richard, that was me. Can't believe you saw it. I know, I couldn't either. I was just watching the video and I was scrolling through the comments. I'm like, look at that. the Janus popped out. Arthur says, hi again. First time I was able to join Ramblestream. Wonderful. Then it is the first time. Welcome. Plan to get here more. Janus was just what I was looking for, back to basics motorcycle with some new good upgrades, disc brakes, etc. That's my uncle, Curry Worsham. Got my copy of Rambler's Companion. Congrats. Thank you, Uncle Curry. White motorcycle helmet, classic. Well, fantastic. We're going to go ahead and shift gears here because we really are rambling. I'll do the official Rambler's Companion pitch. So, hello. This is the Rambler's Companion, and the Rambler's Companion is now available on Amazon. It will soon be available at the Janus Motorcycle Shop in person. We'll be selling it. But you can right now purchase this on Amazon.com. I believe at the moment that we are the #1 rated bestseller in motorcycling in the category on Amazon, and we have been trending high in the automotive category too, and so it's doing really well. If you would like to make it do better, buy a copy if you haven't already. And if you have purchased a copy, one of the things that you can do that would be the most helpful to help spread the rambling gospel is to write a review on Amazon. I won't tell you to make it a good one, but it would be helpful if you gave us your thoughts on it and give it like however many stars you think it deserves. that is one way that will really help to spread the word about the Rambler's Companion and make sure that more people are able to be exposed to it. So a word about the Rambler's Companion, for those of you who have not purchased one yet and who are not maybe new on the stream, the name that we have for the Ramblestream comes from the thinking that we put into this book. I want to say about a year and a half ago, we were really thinking about what we do here at Janus and why it's different and why it makes some people's a recent blog post that I did says why Janus, the kind of motorcycling that we espouse, makes people's heads explode. And it does. There are, if you look at any of our Facebook ads or our YouTube videos or some of the YouTube videos that have been made about us, you will find many people who just do not understand what we're doing, and they the one I always make fun of is I could get 2 Sportsters for the price of one of those, and it just makes me laugh because I say, yeah, you can totally do that. That would be. You can also get 4 of other cheaper. You could probably get 5 beat up KLRs, and then you'd have 5 beat up KLRs. But we were trying to think through what it is that we're doing and how it's different and why we do it differently. And it was really interesting to think back over the years of starting with a 50cc 2-stroke hardtail that looked kind of like it was based on the 1920s, why we did that, and why the most popular motorcycle we've ever made is the Halcyon 250, which is a hardtail carbureted 14 horsepower motorcycle. What is going on with this, and why we like this kind of motorcycling, and why the typical Janus owner chooses a Janus over other bikes. Because as you all know, and as you all will see in this comment thread, many of the owners, many Janus owners and Ramblers also own many other motorcycles of different engine sizes and different kinds of riding. There's some of you that have Harleys. There's some of you that have dual sports. There's some of you I can see in there that have, CFR, dirt bikes or enduros, Ducatis, you name it. And often when I make a delivery on a motorcycle, I'll make a delivery and I'll see all kinds of other big motorcycles in there. But there's a shared appreciation for this different kind of approach to motorcycling. And so about a year and a half ago, we were thinking, well, what is the activity? Apart from the name Janus and the brand and what we're trying to do, what is it that people are trying to, or that they find appealing about what we're doing? And what is it that we do that's different from other motorcycle manufacturers? And we puzzled over this. And finally it came to us that the term rambling is it perfectly captures this sort of, from the outside it can seem nonsensical or a waste of time or unnecessary, but really what the argument that we're trying to make is that when it comes to motorcycling, that's all those terms define motorcycling itself, because like I've said many times, there are people who ride their motorcycle every day to work, and it's their primary means of transportation. Here in the United States, there are many people that do so. However, they choose to do that. They do not have to do that. And so it is not something that is a practical, efficient way of getting from one place to another. And that's actually far from making it stupid or nonsensical or pointless. It actually is why we choose to do this, because it is something that is inefficient. It exposes you to certain risks. It comes with the territory. But in so doing, it opens us up to an entire world of experiences and sensations which don't just flow off of you, or your windshield wipers don't just wipe them off. They're things that actually change who we are. And so when you're riding a motorcycle, you are able to enter into a different mode of existence, maybe I would say, that is transformative, and that allows us to, I don't want to say necessarily be better people, but I think it does. There is an element to it that it challenges you, and it's something that's ever so worth doing, even though it may be, if you're taking the devil's advocate position, it may be kind of pointless, or it may not be very practical. Let's just say that. So this book is my attempt to describe that activity of rambling and why we chose the word rambling. Rambling is a word that it's an ancient word, but it goes back to the concept of moving about without a efficient or practical aim. You're just kind of going for the act of going. And it's taken on in recent centuries the idea of like rambling speech is where you maybe you've lost the train of thought, and you're maybe you're dotty or something like that. But what we're trying to recover with this meaning of it is that it's an activity that's worth doing, just like I've been talking about, that transforms us for the better. So there we have it, the Rambler's Companion. It is now, as I say, available. It's just shy of $10 on Amazon. And if you show up here with your copy, I would be happy to sign it. The rest of the crew would be happy to sign it as well. It's about a little over 100 pages. So it's a short read. You can probably read it in a sitting if you wanted to, or over several if you want to space it out a little bit. It's small enough that you can, I recently said you can put it on your bookshelf, your bedside table, or your motorcycle's book rack if you want to, or your saddlebag. You can stick it in there. So the first half is more philosophical. It kind of deals with these bigger questions that I've been touching on a little bit, like why we ride, the purpose of motorcycling, different what rambling means. And then the second half kind of is a little bit more of a how-to manual, maybe. And it deals with what I call, or what the long-distance motorcycling community calls, ride craft, which I think is just a lovely word. But it's the practice of riding. And so the second half of the book is a little bit more of a handbook on how to ride both safely and comfortably, and the kinds of gear that you need. And this is not some sort of like gear review, so I don't have any brands that I recommend or anything like that, but I just talk about the kind of gear that a rambler might find useful, and what the kind of approach you should take to acquiring different kinds of gear, because whether we like it or not, rambling is an activity that does require preparation and a certain, collecting some essential pieces of kit that will make your ride safer, more comfortable, and in the end, more enjoyable, which is really the goal with rambling. So it talks about how to go on short excursions, longer rides, multi-day trips, packing, camping, navigation, and repairs, jury rigging. So anyway, that is the Rambler's Companion. Buy a copy, write a good review for us, and help spread the word. So earlier I mentioned that I was going to talk about waiting and patience, and if I can find my notebook, here it is. I was watching a YouTube video today, and I should post a note on it. You can see what kind of video I was watching. What is it? Yes, here it is. It's a quote from, I think it's actually from Moliere, the French playwright, but it was quoted by this guy named Hugo Jacomet, and he runs a channel about what is it? Haberdashery, like dressing elegantly, traditional, classic style is really what it is. It's a wonderful channel. He's hilarious. This kind of over the top French guy, but he was talking about what style is and what it means to have style, and I think that is something that a Rambler might appreciate. The name of the channel is Style. I'll put a link in the video if you really want to. Some of you may find it really ridiculous, but he's a funny guy, but he said something. He waxes pretty poetical sometimes, and I think he was quoting Moliere, but he says what he's talking about is having a really well-made suit made for you, and how no matter how much money you have, you can't. It actually, the more money you have, the longer it takes, because you go back to the tailor like 3 times to get it fitted, and made for you. And he's putting this in really wonderful terms, in the sense that he's not bragging about how expensive his suits are. He's just someone who really appreciates fine clothing, and I think it's something that's worth appreciating. Not all of us can afford. I certainly can't afford a bespoke article of clothing, but maybe it's something that it's worth aspiring to. And I don't know. He just puts it really eloquently, and he was talking about how the weight is actually something that is part of the experience of life. And he was talking about how even in love or in romance, how you don't want to just get everything at once. It's something that you want to gradually enter into and relish the joy of being excited about something, and he talks about how he dreams about his new suit that's being made for him, and how that's the part that's almost the most exciting. And I can certainly recognize that. I mean, as certainly like as a child, building things or making things, I would actually get kind of depressed when it was built. When it was finished, I'd make a fort, and I would make pretty detailed architectural forts and stuff, and they would get really over the top. And it was so much fun to make it, but once it was done, I was kind of like, well, okay. All this time I'm thinking about how it was going to be used, and then you get to it and you're like, okay, well, all right. And I'm not saying that, that obviously I would hope that the weight you have for a motorcycle, like your Janus motorcycle, is not, you don't fall into depression once you get the bike, because the best part, I mean, while it is, I think, a sign of a well-made thing, that you have to wait for it. That's kind of where the point I'm getting at is that these things that are well made, it's because it's something that's it takes time and a human effort to make it, and in that sense, it is that's the part that in our age where we buy things on Amazon and they come the next day, we all we are focused on is this efficient kind of get it, move on and use it as a tool and dispose of it when it's done. Whereas when you start talking about a really nice suit or a handmade machine like a motorcycle, this is a long process, and the longer you stretch that process out, the better it is. So yeah, I'm not saying that is an excuse for why you need to wait really long when we build your motorcycle, but rather I do think there is an element there that's true. So to the quote, finally, it's very short, but he says, and again, this I think is Moliere, but he says from the Imaginary Invalid play, but he says, "Trees that are slow to grow bear the best fruits." I think that's just a really wonderful thought, that it's the slowest growing trees are the ones that actually have the best fruits. You think about that in terms of like an apple or a vine, a vineyard, or an olive tree. These things that take for a very, very long time. These are the things that actually are the things that are the most delicious or evocative or meaningful. So, yeah, there we have it. I'll post a link up to that video if you want. It's another aspect, because I talk about sailing sometimes. I've talked about watches. I hope we're going to be able to return to those topics too. But the one that's recently I've been thinking about is fine clothing. It fits into the same thing, and I'm not by any means saying to you all that part of being a Rambler is to have expensive clothes or expensive watches or a big wooden sailboat. No. That's to completely misunderstand the point. What I'm saying is that these are activities that we pursue not just because we have tons of money, because if you're like me, you don't, but rather because there is something about them that's worth doing, and they're worth aspiring to. And I think that that's one of the things about a Janus motorcycle that, we try and keep them as affordable as possible, but they are more expensive than a similarly sized motorcycle. But I hope that, and I know you all understand it, but that's one of the messages I think that I would love that more people would understand, is that this isn't something that's designed to be a throwaway object. This is something that it's a work of art, and we put a lot of work into it. So it's something that things that take a long time are often the most worthwhile. So there you have it. We are smack on time. I will, man, there's a lot of comments. I'm not going to be able to get through all these. Dan says, I reviewed it on Amazon. Also plugged it on my Royal Enfield 50 fans page. Awesome. Well, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to get through all these comments. The book is familiar for those who have been involved in this stream. Nice job, Richard. I'll pass some time while waiting for 1067. Multifarious. Good to see you, my friend. So many people on here that I recognize your names. I am but a fish caught in the net of an empty wind. Pablo Neruda. Nice. Checking in late. Got my book. Hey, Straw Dog. Good to see you. Jeff says, Marshall Tucker Band. Lord, I was born a rambling man. Let's see. This is such a unique place on the internet. I'm so glad to be part of it. I'm glad you are. Brent says, good segue to promoting the Rambler's Corner on the Janus site. Yes. If y'all don't know, that's on our website. We have a lot of rambling gear, which I failed to mention, but yes, we do have some nice gear for you to ramble with. Check it out. Rambler's Corner on the website. Hamberdashery. I must ask you a question. Yeah, there we go. Got it. All right. Lots of good comments. So good to see you all on here tonight. But with that, I'm going to end the stream. I will be back next week for another Ramble stream, and we'll try and integrate some of these suggestions from you all. And I'm working on the format of this. So I know I've said that before, but we might even have like an intro reel or something like that, something kind of fun. And it's got to figure out how to handle all these comments too. So, okay. Thank you very much. This has been lovely. I will catch you all next Monday night for Ramblestream number 33. Thank you very much, and good night.